With winter 2025 anime coming to a close, we got like 2 or 3 weeks left. By the time this comes out, there's probably 2 weeks left, but I'm going to rank the 17 anime that I have been watching this season. So when we go into this, I have 17 shows that I've been watching from the very get-go. Some of them are done, some might be moving on to the next season, but I'm going to cover 17 of them. I'm going to give them a rank, and I'm going to talk about them really quick. I'm going to not try to take too long, considering how many there are, but let's get right into it. First one on a block is Dragon Ball Daima. At the time of this recording, it is done. They finished with 20 episodes, and honestly, I'm giving it like an 8 out of 10. I genuinely enjoyed it. I grew up on Dragon Ball, and to me, this is a very good spiritual successor that Akira Toriyama left us, and I really do think that it could lead to things. And, you know, making Super Saiyan 4... Spoilers, by the way! Spoilers if you haven't watched. There's gonna be spoilers throughout all this stuff. But making Super Saiyan 4 canon, and how they go about making it and telling people how, I really do like. I had a good, fun time. Every episode was very enjoyable. Overall, I had a good time watching Daima. The next one I want to talk about is going to be Honey Lemon Soda. It is a teen romance slice of life that is really pretty decent right now. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It is a romance anime that got me back into romance, essentially, for anime. It's about a girl who has past trauma going into the new high school that she's going to, and it's how she overcomes it by making friends and coming across this guy that keeps pushing her to do better, to get out of her shell, to get over this trauma. And it's a journey of how she does it and the progression of it. It's very good. I really like it. The opening OP are very solid, and the animations they put with it are very lifelike and realistic. I genuinely enjoy Honey Lemon Soda, and I plan on making a video about it. Number 3 that I'm going through, although also this isn't in any order, this is just whatever I wrote down along the list. But number 3 on the list is going to be Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's very lighthearted, very nonchalant, but it's a cool action with some slice of life, and how they get from point A to point B and back and forth is interesting, and you know, all the little misadventures are fun and cute, and it's a very nice, pretty art style that comes along with it, and they do a very good job of showing off different things and how the elf girl like overcomes her problems and how she starts to speak Japanese and stuff like that. They do a very good job. It's very enjoyable. The next one on the list is a Bogus Skill Fruit Master. About that time, I became able to eat a limited number of skill fruit without killing it. This has been an okay one. The intro is pretty nice, and that's what really got me. But overall, this is a decent 5 out of 10. Nothing too crazy. It's probably going to fade into obscurity after the season, but this could be someone's favorite, and I do like the idea of eating this fruit at random and getting a random skill. You have to be very blessed or very cursed with a taboo skill that people don't like and are scared of. And there's, you know, corruption in the government and stuff like that. There's some pretty good interesting plot points, but overall, this has been alright overall during the season. The next one I want to talk about is Promise of Wizard, which basically, it's like a reverse harem, it kind of really looks like. It's about a bunch of wizards, which are guys, and this random girl that was taken from our world and isekai essentially to their world to help them prevent a calamity. And she's in charge of all these wizards, which are very beautiful, pretty boys, and all have their different quirks. You got the bad guys, you got the cute ones, you got the scared ones, you got the dimwits, you got everything you could think of. And the magic scene, like when they actually fight, is actually pretty good. But overall, it's just kind of like, there is a, you know, an audience, and I'm not that audience, but I'm going to stick it out, and I really, to me, this is a 5 out of 10, but I can definitely see people being like, this is a 7 or 8 if it's up your alley. But to me, their concept of magic and everything, it's pretty alright, but it's to me at the same time. The next one on the list, one of my top 2 this season, is Dr. Stone. This is the final season for Dr. Stone. There's a lot of stuff being unveiled, especially about in the Americas on what happened when the world turned to stone and everything that's coming to fruition, and I really am enjoying this final season. Every episode I've been on my seat, I have been enjoying it, and I haven't been let down. The intro and outro are amazing for this season as well, super catchy. Overall, the mind games that are going on, this is just a very solid, good season, and I really think that it's going to continue into the spring 2025, because I feel like this is going to be a 24 episoder. I haven't really looked to remember but I really do think it's going to carry into the next season. But right now, for me, with Senku and everything he's doing, it is a solid 9 out of 10. Been straight enjoying this, and it's great. It's just great. The next one I want to talk about is Headhunted to Another World, From Salarymen to Big Four. It follows a middle-aged man who ends up getting headhunted by the Demon Lord and sent to help him fix up his army and stuff. And it's very interesting on how he takes real-world ways to approach problems that he learned from being an underling and being screwed over by these big companies to use them and flourish with the Demon Lord army. It's been very funny at times, and you know, it's pretty alright. I do think this is one of the more standout ones, but to me personally, it's like a 6.5. I do think by the end of it, because there are 2 episodes left and they're starting to, you know, hit the climax at the end here, it could easily be a 7. But to me, with the art style and everything else and pretty decent plot points, this is sitting at a 6.5 for me. The next one on the list is possibly The Greatest Alchemist, which has been a very interesting one. I do really like the premise of this goddess reincarnated someone to help her counteract some kingdom forcing isekaiing people, and the person she isekais, the MC, is a counterforce to that, and she wants him to basically cancel out their negativity that they're bringing in. And it follows him being, you know, himself and a little bit dim-witted as he gets people and hires slaves. But in this world, there are rules and laws with slaves to protect them and make sure they get good owners to either pay off debts. They're war slaves, like captures and stuff like that. There's actually really good economic and like political scene in this. I will say that. To me, this is about a 6 out of 10. It's generic-y, but it's also got a very good plot at the same time. And I think people are gonna like it if it catches on, but we'll see with time. And overall, I do like the idea of him bringing toilets and fridges and stuff of that nature from our world to this world. So it's sitting at about a 6 out of 10 for me. The next one on the list is I left my A-rank party to help my former students reach the dungeon depths. You follow the MC who ends up leaving his party, who doesn't appreciate him. They treat him like a pack mule, when in reality he was keeping them together and keeping them orchestrated, keeping their money going, and he did a lot of things behind the scenes. Well, he ends up running into his former students who ask for his help, and he ends up joining and making a team and becoming the team leader. The action's very solid. I do really like that, and it's very beautiful when it comes to action, especially when it activates spells and stuff. It's very colorful, it's very eye-catching, and very impactful. And where it's at right now, it just ended a very climactical point with him overcoming his past. But overall, this is a 6 out of 10. Kind of like 6.5-ish going there. I think by the end of it, this also has a chance of going up to a 7. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The characters haven't been mulled out and lost their personality over time. They are very memorable. They are, of course, it's like, you know, oh, M's powerful main character. He's got a little bit of a harem, but not really. It makes sense when you watch it. I would say this is one I would recommend out of this season, at a 6.5, possibly 7. The next one on the list is Even Given the Worthless Appraiser's Class, I Am the Strongest. To me, this is a 4 out of 10. It started decent. This guy who can only appraise the value and see stuff like a special ability or skills of creatures, he ends up getting kicked and sacrificed so other people get away. And then all of a sudden he can become super powerful, and he gets basically a mini harem following him around, and then no one can touch him, and it kind of goes that route. And it's okay to me. The art style is pretty, I will say it's a little bit more unique compared to the other ones, and it's not like blanded out. But overall, the story's just he's going around trying to help the world tree find all of its parts essentially and get them together. But they take on the form of women, and then they, you know, they fall in love with them, and it's just it's it's that power trip fantasy. All the women are loving me, even though I'm a little dense and don't understand it, kind of thing. It's all right. It's sitting at a 4 out of 10 for me. Another one that's actually pretty standout in this season alone is Zenshu. It is done by Mappa. It's very beautiful, very interesting. You follow MC. She is a prodigy in the animation world, and she's doing her own movie debut of a movie that's about love. Well, she's never been in love, and while she's sitting there been contemplating for days and stuff, she ends up passing away because she ate a bad clam or something along those lines. Then she ends up getting reincarnated into one of her favorite movies, which is also known as a kind of a flop in the anime world, and she relives these events but also prevents it and changes it by using a storyboard clip and drawing these things to life. And she draws stuff that fits the mood. Well, it's been very decent. I've been really enjoying it. The animation style has been blowing it out of the water. That's what Mappa does. They hold stuff to a higher bar, and it's getting very interesting because her whole thing was to prevent the main guy, Luke, from, you know, not being depressed and falling into despair and stuff. So we'll see how it ends. Right now, someone just did a self-sacrifice. I'm not going to say who, but we'll see what happens. Next one on the list is The Daily Life of a Middle-Aged Online Shopper in Another World. This is a very interesting one, needless to say. Guy almost died in work, so they sent him out to the middle of nowhere, where he ended up farming and basically living off grid and enjoying life. Well, all of a sudden he wakes up, he got isekai'd to this fantasy world. Well, he has the ability to shop on Amazon pretty much and buy what he wants. So he learns out that he can just be a merchant and sell stuff to this website to get money to buy things, and he can take currency from that world and give it to this Amazon thing and, you know, go from there. So you follow this guy who's just trying to just live his life, be alone, do his own thing, and he gets laid here and there. It's just you follow this old man doing what he wants to be peaceful, and it's nice, and you see how him buying stuff and interacting with this world is changing it for the better, and how he's influencing it for the better. So I give Middle Age a 6.5 out of 10. I think it also has the ability to go up to a 7 at the end of the season. The next one I want to talk about is Guild Receptionist, which I did a manga review on. But the full name for it is, I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. You follow main girl who just doesn't want to do overtime, who just wants to go do her 9 to 5 and live a nice peaceful life because she has job stability, and that's what she likes. Well, all these people keep failing to beat this boss, so you find out that she's actually a person they call an executioner because she has this very rare ancient skill called a dia skill, and she brings up like a big hammer and it solos this boss that no one can handle. And you find out that the leader of the most popular, strongest party, Jade, finds out who she is, and it kind of just goes from there. It's a very funny comedy. It's a little bit slow at times, but more so the action and the pace keeps just going. It is a more unique art style that stands out upon this. It doesn't fade into existence, kind of like some other stuff. And this was a hyped manga that I really did enjoy, and I have been enjoying this show. So I give it a 7 out of 10, and I do think it might be able to bump up to an 8 possibly by the end of the season. Next one on the list is Ameku MD, basically Dr. House if he was turned into an anime girl. So the meme that was going around is he died and he got reincarnated essentially as this doctor who is very smart and knows a lot of things, and she is weird, which kind of freaks people out, but she can always figure out what's wrong. Might take her a little bit, but she can always solve the cases that people can't figure out, and it's very good. It's very down to earth. There's a lot of, it's adult oriented, which I really like about it, and it's more into the realism of medical stuff with weird things causing it, multiple personality disorders or people trying to cover up stuff, and they make it look like a old curse that's causing it. She's able to take her knowledge and figure stuff out while also keeping it very tense and very full of suspense throughout the show. They did a very good job. The animation is very nice. I really do generally enjoy it. It's a little more gritty, but it's very on point and very realistic of a show. While yes, some of it's far-fetched, of course, because it's anime, but in the overall scheme of things, it's very realistic. And I give this a 8 out of 10, easy. And this is probably one, if it ever gets a physical DVD release, I'm probably going to pick it up. Next one on the list is Pharmagia. I give this a 4. If I would have played the video game that it's based off of, I would probably like it a little more. But it's, it's the same from the guy who did Fairy Tail. So it's the same kind of traits. It's always the same, little funny kicks, things that happen over and over and over again. And it gets a little old and repetitive after a while. While yes, the story is progressing and the fight scenes are good like Fairy Tail, but the overall plot's just I'm not really invested. It's kind of like you had to play the game to be invested into the anime. And that's, to me, is the wrong approach they should not have taken with it. And if they would have changed it up a little bit, like you've never played the game, and space it out over 24 episodes, it would be fantastic. But we're on episode 9, and it's definitely going to wrap up by 12, and I don't think they really thought that it would be, it would do good, I guess. which is why they did this. I don't know. My thing is, you had to have played the game to have more attachment to it. And that's why it's like a 4, could be a 3 for me, to be honest. The second to last one that I've been watching is Magic Maker. How to make magic in another world. This guy who like believed the lore of if he stayed a virgin until he was 30, he would become a wizard. He finds out this isn't true and has a heart attack from all the stress and lies that, you know, been leading up to that. Well, he ends up getting reincarnated into this world where there's no magic. But then one day he finds out it does exist. No one's just made it a thing and discovered it. Well, it's his life goal as a kid going up to his early teen years to discover the magic, make it a reality, put it into real life, and make it come to fruition. And that idea is great. I have not seen anyone else do that. It's fantastic. But right now it's kind of in a lull for me. It's at a 6 out of 10. It could go up more. I think there's 3 or 4 more episodes left in this season. We'll see what happens. But the premise behind it is great, and I really like that they did that and went with it. So we'll see what happens, but for right now, it's going to be sitting at a 6 out of 10. And the last one of the season, which fantastic. I loved it. I love it. Shangri-La Frontier. I have been enjoying it non-stop. It's a gift that keeps on giving. They do it amazing. The action scenes are fantastic. They do very good with world building while game building, while also going into other games to show you how these games work and give you like pretty much a jam session of their lore, how they work, how the community operates. It's so good. Shangri-La Frontier is definitely a top tier anime and is one of the best ones I've seen in a long time. In most recent years for me, it's been Frieren and Shangri-La. These two have been knocking it out of the park, and I am so excited, especially right now where they're going into like the big video game arc, like the big competitive video game arc. So it's like GCC or something. Basically it's Japan versus America, and I can't wait to see how this plays out, because it's just stopping Shangri-La Frontier and going on to this new fighting game, Galactica Heroes. I can't wait to see how this plays out. This is a 9.5 easy. It's almost a dead masterpiece for me. I think by the end of it, it probably will be a masterpiece. I have been really enjoying Shangri-La. So let me know what you guys think. I kept this to a minimum. I did watch a little bit of the Red Ranger Becomes Adventure in Another World. I'm knocking it to next season. I watched it a little bit, but it fell off. I need to rewatch it. I ended up also watching Rono and Kenshin for a little bit, which we can discuss later or live on stream. So, but let me know what you guys think of my review. I love you all. I appreciate you all, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.